So, Jonathan, thanks so much for talking with us.
My pleasure.
I think most people know you from your work for Dos Equis. There was sort of an ad campaign that went viral, the most interesting man in the world.
9 years.
And personally, I love the commercials. I thought they were great.
Thank you.
How did you get involved in the role? How did you...
In this or with Dos Equis?
Well, let's start with Dos Equis.
Well, it's a long story. I'll try to truncate it as much as possible. I was out of the business for 10 years, and I got a call one day from the only agent that would handle me. They're looking for a Hemingway-esque type of a character. They don't know what they want, but you have to do an improv. Last line is to be, and that's how I arm wrestled Fidel Castro. Made perfect sense to me. So I drove down in my old truck. I was going through some financial... Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
For your good health.
Oh, yeah, cheers.
I certainly was going through some financial problems at the time, so I slept in a campground in my truck. No running water. Went reluctantly to this audition, first one in 10 years. And out of sight and out of mind in Hollywood has a very special significance. I went to the audition. There were 500 people. They all looked like Juan Valdez, these handsome Latino guys. I said, oh my God, this is a mistake. Went into an empty studio finally after 499 men preceded me, spoke to an empty wall back in New York, and they asked me about my life. What did I want to do when I was a kid? I said, well, it was a toss-up. It was either be a white hunter or an OBGYN. They laughed back in New York. I'm talking to this empty wall, the client, the agency. They're all back in New York with the director. And they proceeded to ask me questions for a half an hour, almost 45 minutes. And they kept laughing. I kept coming up with this BS like you can't imagine. And after 3 months of going all over the world looking for a Latino, they end up for me, a New Yorker. I was the lucky guy.
So you improvised your whole audition?
Yep. The whole thing was an improvisation.
That whole 30 minutes?
Almost 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, because my truck was illegally parked. I thought they were going to take it away. Good health, my friend. Salud.
So you'd had a career in Hollywood before this. You'd been in, I believe, a series of TV appearances and a lot of Westerns.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. There were over 350 starring roles on television, some very well-known movies. The first one Clint Eastwood did after a Fistful of Dollars was Hang 'em High. I was in that. That was the first. And one of the last was John Wayne's last in The Shootist. And in between there were some other famous pictures, Ice Station, Zebra, Green Eyes, and numerous other films.
So, personally, I'm interested if you have any advice for how I can become more interesting. I know it's just a character.
That might be a lost cause.
I can tell you, I'm certainly underdressed for this event.
No.
I should have brought a suit coat or something.
It's a frequent question that I'm asked. I think to be interesting, in all honesty, you have to be interested. You have to be interested in lots of different diverse things. And you have to read. You know, these computers that we're all so in love with, it's a two-edged sword. I do a lot of commencement speaking, and I tell these kids something I firmly believe in. You've got to read. Best advice I can give. And what's the name of this paper?
The Patriot News.
Oh, I've heard about the Patriot News. Definitely read the Patriot News.
You heard it here from the world's most interesting man.